Welcome to the Wake Before the Day podcast with my parents, Clark and Bobby. We'll talk about the Bible and the Holy Spirit adventures. Thanks for listening.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to your Monday podcast. Today, I got my good friend, my neighbor, one of my favorite singers, Miss Nyajaha Livingston.
Hi.
Give it up for Nyajaha. Woo-woo. All right, Nate. Well, thanks for coming on. Today is actually the very first podcast for the Gospel of Mark. But before we dive into that, I just want to catch up. As I've said before, when we've had guests, some of the podcast listeners don't attend a manual.
Yeah.
So they might not know you as well as we do.
Yeah.
So tell us some fun, interesting stuff about you.
Well, I work here at Emmanuel, I'm worship leader, and I also assist Jody Grass, and I'm a student. You can call me a super senior if you'd like, because I've been in school forever.
I love it. You're getting it done, though. You're almost done.
I got a year left, people. I'm holding on. Pray for me.
Yeah. What are you studying? Tell us.
Behavioral. Wait, hold on. I always mix it up. This behavioral health science.
Yes. Health, behavior science, behavior
Yes,
health science.
That part.
Trying to keep us all in line, essentially.
Yeah, studying, observing, watching people and observing people. That's
in their habitat.
In their habitat. That's exactly what I do.
I love it.
So, yeah.
Well, kind of random question.
Yeah.
If you're going to go people watching.
Oh, my gosh.
Where's the best people watching locations or spots? I got two for me.
My window.
Virginia Avenue.
Virginia Avenue.
All the crazies walking up and down the street to the courthouse.
It's funny because every time I look through the window, I see someone from the church.
Okay.
And it's like, it's always perfect timing. And it's always low-key kind of weird because it's like, oh, I see you.
Yeah.
And I told your wife this. I told Bobby this. I said, she's walked past a couple of times and we made eye contact. I'm just like, does she see me?
Bobby sees everything.
She saw me. She said she did.
Yeah, she knows. She got eyes like a hawk.
Yeah.
Nothing gets
right
by her.
eye to eye.
Yeah.
What are your spots?
Airports.
Yes.
I love sitting at an airport when I'm not chasing my kids up and down a tarmac.
Yeah.
Having a coffee and just watching people.
Yes.
It's fascinating.
People do
especially
stuff.
LAX. You got people from all over the world rolling through. And the other one is Disneyland.
Oh.
Like when Bobby and I first got married, we got passes and we would go for date night.
Yeah.
And again, when you had passes, you could go ride like 2 rides.
Yeah.
Grab a drink and walk around, drink your coffee and just sit down and we would just watch people.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. Have you ever seen the movie Date Night with Steve Carell?
Yeah.
And they steal someone's reservation for a dinner and they end up getting chased because that person they stole is like on a hit list or something.
Yeah.
Very funny movie. I highly recommend you checking it out if you want to laugh. But what they do in it is they'll like sit there at a restaurant and they'll look at another couple having a conversation and then they start like making up what they're saying, like
telling their
I got
stories.
so much gas in my belly. I got a fart or whatever. And Bobby and I will sit there sometimes. I wonder what they're talking about. Like, oh.
Yeah, people can do some real crazy stuff when you're watching them.
Airport, Disneyland, people watching. So pretty much we are also in behavioral health sciences as we watch people in their habitat and figure out what is making them tick. Why is he doing that?
Why so serious?
Yeah, why so serious?
Yeah.
The Joker said that.
See?
There you
That's
go.
right. See, part of that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, last question for you before we dive into Mark chapter 2.
Okay.
You're one of our singers.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's on your Spotify list right now? What are some of the last couple of musicians or bands you've listened to?
Well, I recently just
Be honest.
I will.
Metallica's on there. You better tell us.
It's not.
Okay.
That's heavy stuff, I think, isn't it?
For sure.
Recently, I just brought Premium on Spotify.
Yeah.
So usually I would just like whatever, play a playlist, whoever.
Yeah.
I don't have specific, this is my go-to, but I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
My husband is Jonathan McReynolds. You know Jonathan McReynolds? I have to hook you up now, on his music.
Just so you know, she's not married, actually.
No, I'm not.
To anybody named Jonathan, but clearly you like Jonathan McReynolds.
I love Jonathan McReynolds' music. It's all Christian, all gospel-based.
Is it like a bluegrass country?
No,
does he have a Josh Garrels kind of voice?
I don't know who Josh Garrel is.
Is it like a deep...
Nah,
chill?
He's like tenor. He's pretty up there.
I have no idea what tenor
high
means.
Like
this.
Yeah, he's high up there. He's like girlish. A girl can sing his stuff.
I'm a tenor. I have a high voice.
Yeah, Clark sung in the choir, guys. I don't know if you guys knew this, but he was singing. Yeah, his whole face was red, and I was like, oh, he's stuck.
Yeah, I went up there to give him communion, and all of a sudden, there was like the world's shortest time of reflection. Thanks, Uncle Ken.
Yeah.
And then they just stand up and start singing. I look at Vicky. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, we're singing. Boy, stand next to me. Like, pull up here.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I learned that, like, stop. Sing. Higher. Lower. You sing. Stop. I'm like, I could do this.
And you're swaying too.
Oh, I
had
had
to sway.
my crossover.
Yeah.
Pretend I had my basketball crossover. It's also a dance move. Crossover.
It was great.
It was fun. And you did a good job conducting that
Well,
day.
thanks. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yep.
So Josh McReynolds.
Jonathan McReynolds.
Yep. Sorry, Jonathan.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's all the music I listen to on there is pretty, I would say it's pretty like, it's mostly like Christian gospel based.
Okay.
I kind of treat music like
If you're not going to
movies.
be listening to Christian gospel music, what are you listening to?
Yeah, probably like a lot of old music. Like, when I say old, I mean my old, like early 2000s, early
Like
2000s,
like
late
Neo?
90s.
Like R&B or like
Yeah, R&B,
country? What are you
pop.
talking? Okay. Bieber? Old Biebs?
Man, maybe. Like, what was the one
One less
hip song?
lonely girl.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Baby,
Yeah,
that one.
okay.
Yeah, Bruno Mars.
All right. That's a solid list right there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a girl. Beyonce's early stuff is great.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
what's on your playlist?
Got multiple, playlists. Very few like albums I actually listen to. Most of them are playlists. If I'm not listening to Christian music, which I just found a really good early morning worship playlist. So
Okay.
when I get up early and once I
Play
get
that.
like my devotions or my workout or whatever out of the way, and I'm just like getting breakfast ready, I
Yeah.
put that on and it's just so peaceful.
Yeah.
It's on Spotify. I think it's literally early morning
It's
worship.
one of their
One of those.
playlists.
It's
Yeah.
really solid.
Yeah.
I bet Jonathan McReynolds might be on it.
He might be.
If I'm not listening to that though, I love oldies. And by my
Okay.
oldies, I mean like Beach Boys,
Okay. A little back.
Jay and the
more.
Americans,
I don't know them.
some of the old Beatles,
Okay.
Simon and Garfunkel. Like when I grew up, my dad would always have like the oldie station from the 50s and
Yeah.
60s, maybe up to the
Playing.
70s, playing while I wash the car or
Yeah.
I mow the lawn, have the headphones in. So that's like
Yeah.
a happy place for me.
Yeah,
And
like
I
nostalgic.
despised country growing up. I
Okay.
hated country. And I
Yeah.
grew up in the country.
Yeah.
Like in Iowa, that is. And now that I'm married to Bobby Jean and she grew up on a farm, I've grown to love it. And so now I have these like 90s playlists. I never listened to Alan
Yeah.
Jackson or Tim McGraw or Faith Hill,
Tim
whoever.
McGraw.
It's not I'm like falling in love with these songs that people
Yeah.
have loved for decades.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so good.
Do you listen to who's the speaker on American Idol? No,
Asking the wrong guy here. I don't
wrong
know.
guy. You know, he's a country singer too.
Oh, you're thinking of The Voice.
No,
Well,
that too. Him too.
what's his name?
He's always doing this.
It's Gwen Stefani now. Yeah, Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton. Do you like his music? He's a pretty cool guy.
I don't know if I've heard it. Yeah, he's a fun dude, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
All right, Blake and Jonathan McReynolds
that's right.
on my list.
You got two people.
I got it. Let's do it. I love it. This is such a fun conversation. I love it.
This is great.
All right, sister, let's dive in. Mark chapter 2.
Yeah.
When you think about Mark's different than the other gospels
Yeah.
in that it's the oldest gospel.
I didn't know that.
Matthew and Luke used the manuscripts of Mark to write their own gospels.
Wow.
Yeah, it was written to the church in Rome, Italy.
Okay.
And one of my favorite little fun facts about Mark is the way he writes, he has this thing called a Markan sandwich, where he will
Okay.
talk about point A,
Uh-huh.
then randomly in the middle of the story, bring up a side note, story B.
Yeah.
And then come back to
You
point
can tell.
A. Yeah,
Yep.
it's just like a Markan sandwich is what they call it. So
Yep.
I always look at that and see kind of like a chiastic structure, chiasm. But that's Mark.
Yeah.
That's how where Matthew and Luke got a lot of their resources.
Okay.
Now we're in Mark chapter 2, and Mark is got it's very action packed. Less words, the
Yeah.
fewest words of all the gospels, but just story after story
Yes.
after story.
Yes.
So we're in Mark chapter 2, and we've got all kinds of things to hash out. We don't have to talk about all of them. I just kind of want to
Yeah.
hear what stood out to you. But we've got Jesus forgives and heals a paralyzed man. He calls
Yeah.
Levi, eats with sinners. Jesus is
Yeah.
questioned about fasting, Lord of the Sabbath.
Yeah.
What stands out to you?
Well, so one of the things that's always stood out to me with the Gospels and reading Mark, the Pharisees are everywhere.
Yeah.
The Pharisees always got something to say.
Yep.
They're everywhere.
Yes,
And
they are.
I'm just like, where y'all come from?
Yeah.
and I always love how Jesus responds. Like, he's just so bold with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's just so quick. You guys
Yeah.
aren't right.
For sure. Do you know like the background of the Pharisees by chance?
I know they're supposed to study the word.
Yeah.
Right? The Old Testament, they're supposed to study it. They live by it.
Yep.
And I know they're serious on the rules side of it, the legalistic.
Yeah. So no, this is good. So when Jesus is coming up against people, there's like the teachers of the law,
Right.
then there's Sadducees, and there's Pharisees.
Right.
When it came to the Sanhedrin, which was like the Jewish ruling council, the
Yeah.
Pharisees made up half,
Okay.
and the Sadducees made up half.
Okay.
The Sadducees are so sad, you see, because they don't believe in resurrection.
Yes.
They also only hold to the first 5 books of the Old Testament.
Okay.
The Pharisees had an expanded Old Testament view and also followed all the rules and traditions.
Right.
And would crack down on people who were breaking said laws.
Yes.
Right. Teachers of the law were other teachers that didn't work as high up as some of these other guys, but also studied traditions and law.
Yeah.
And then from there, you had different groups like the Essenes and the Zealots, and there were different
Zealots.
factions of people that identified usually as Jewish, but some were more extreme than others.
Right.
And Jesus is bumping into all these people
Yeah.
all the time.
And he responds to all of them.
Yes, often differently too. It's the religious folk that he really gets after the hardest. It's the guys who are the super spiritual ones that he comes after.
Right.
And usually like the really like worldly and immoral people, he's actually more kind to.
He is.
So I've had to take a
compassionate.
note of that myself.
Yeah.
Like where am I being quote unquote religious in a
Yeah.
negative sense and pompous and I need, all right, God,
Too Christian.
forgive. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. It's easy to go that route. I've had to check myself a couple of times too. Like, you can chill out a little bit.
For sure. So is there anything specific with Jesus and the Pharisees that like stood out to you, or just his interaction with them?
No, just his interaction. What mainly stood out to me was the first story right off the bat when we read Mark 2, how Jesus, he heals a paralyzed man. And I think within that story, like it mentions that Jesus saw his faith. And it doesn't mention the faith of the people bringing him, but the people brought him.
Yeah.
And this story doesn't mention it, at least that I see
Well,
it.
no, I think go to verse 5.
Verse
I
5?
actually made note of this too. It's
Okay.
good that we're talking about this. It says at least in my Bible, it says when Jesus saw their faith.
It does say their
Yes.
Clark, it does. Look, I underlined it.
Oh, hey, this is why we're doing this together.
Amen.
Community.
Okay, wake up.
Yeah.
It says their faith. Okay, that helps a lot then. Because it's like with that, it's like when I was reading it, I was like, there's a desperation here. Mm-hmm. Like you broke this man's roof, someone's roof,
I know.
to get inside to get healed.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Good friends.
Good friends.
Yeah.
Y'all were on the same page.
If I get messed up, you and MK better drop me through
we
the
gotta
roof.
drag you somewhere. Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's cool. So who are you hanging with, right? When it comes
who are
down
you hanging
to
with? Right.
like, hey, if Jesus is saying, I'm looking at your friends, your community's faith, and it's going to bless you out of it.
Yeah.
I think we should step back. And while we're like in the world and we're trying to hang out with people that aren't Christians, definitely got to be missionaries here.
Yeah.
But it's also important to know who are you rolling with and
you
who's
with?
like your foundation, your inner circle.
Right.
And those people and their views actually are really important.
That's right.
So I don't know, do you have some close friends here that you feel like are...
I have a proof. So April Hurst, my aunt Selena Gibson, those are my two top dogs.
Awesome.
They're amazing, and we call ourselves the Triangle.
The Triangle?
We have a group name.
I love it. That's cool.
So those are my support group. That's my people right there.
Okay.
And they're carrying me through.
Everybody needs a triangle.
Yeah. Do you have a shape?
Shape. Yeah, I have a few really good friends. My cousin Curtis is probably the one that he and I are like honest about everything, brutally honest and blunt. And like, how are you doing? How am I?
Yeah.
So we got each other's back for sure. And then some of my other cousins as well. And then there's another young pastor who's my age, who's a senior pastor of another Reformed church out in like the Chino area.
Okay.
That he and I have become good buddies. His name's Mark, and we've been able to be honest and share kind of like, what are you learning? What's been hard? And that's been good. So I think I'm becoming his inner circle. He's becoming mine. It's in progress, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So the first story here is, Jesus forgives this man and heals him, and his friend's faith play a big role in that.
Right.
Getting him there.
Right.
What else stands out to you?
What else stands out to me? I think that we're looking at I think it's the last story of the book not the book, the what's it called? The chapter.
The chapter, yeah.
And Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath. I've always had a hard time with this section.
Okay.
Always. I think with the staff, I think with the church too, we talked about Sabbath before and what actually is Sabbath. It's a day of rest and you're enjoying creation and everything.
Yeah.
And I think within this, you could speak on it because I'm sure you probably know, there's some Old Testaments referencing here as well, with David and everything and how him and his people ate some food in the temple, right?
Yeah.
And they did it and they weren't punished for it, right? And so the teachers of the law, they get on Jesus and his people for eating this grain. And it's like, I love what the Message version says. I think it's the NLT version says that the Sabbath was made to meet the needs of people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, I think I'm still processing it. And it's like, we're supposed to take this time to enjoy what we need to enjoy with God.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
What else? What else?
No,
am I
I think you hit
that?
the nail right on the head. So when you're reading the Samuels,
Yeah.
Towards the end of 1 Samuel, up to the beginning of 2 Samuel, you have David rising, and then Saul is being excluded because of his disobedience.
Yeah.
So then Saul's on a manhunt trying to kill David all the time.
Right.
Well, back in the Old Testament, you read Genesis, or more like Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, you have tons of these Old Testament laws on what you can eat and when, and how far you can walk on a certain day and all this stuff. Well, they went into, Abiathar was the high priest, and they went in and they ate like the consecrated bread that was only supposed to be of God, which was like, you almost think you almost should have been like struck down dead for doing that.
Exactly.
But because David was trying to honor God and honor Saul, God honored David. And that was one of those instances where God said, I'm going to take the holy things and bless you because you need it. And so Jesus is looking at this going, Sabbath is for you, and you're all burning out. You're going too fast. You're burning the candle on both ends. You're a hamster on a wheel.
Right.
Sometimes we're doing things without intention, and we're just like going fast because everybody else is going fast. So let's just go.
Yeah.
And Sabbath, we need to slow down.
Yeah.
You got to take a day and enjoy God. Enjoy all the good things he made. And you enter into that day, that time period intentionally, and you exit intentionally.
Yes.
So for our house, when we're able to do it right now, we're kind of hitting reset because of the baby.
Oh, yeah, I
But
bet.
for a while there, we were like lighting candles, and everyone had a candle, and we would talk about like how we met God that day, which we do every meal. And then everyone would get to say a prayer and blow their candle out. And that was like the end of the Sabbath day for us, which was really cool. Like now we're exiting and getting ready for bedtime, and the week's about to start.
Right.
But like really being intentional.
Yeah.
And trying to find things that are life-giving. So whether it's like playing music or working out or surfing or gardening or reading or watching a movie, there's no religiosity of like, you must do this.
Right.
It's more of be with God, focus on God, and enjoy life.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So I think the next year or two, I'm working on some stuff where I think when it comes to these spiritual disciplines, we have to employ our church to participate in this and make it a rhythm of life.
Yeah.
And we're missing out if we don't.
Yeah.
And Jesus is saying this is a gift.
It is a gift.
So, awesome. Well, that's all I have. You got anything else in your side of things over there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just echoing what you said about the Sabbath. I think, especially in our culture.
Do you have a day you take Sabbath?
I take Friday or Saturday.
Okay.
It just depends on the week.
Yeah.
So most of the time,
Flexibility.
I'm sleeping.
That's good.
So if y'all
Sabbath.
call me, I'm not answering that phone. So do not disturb.
Do not disturb. That's right. That's right. Monday's ours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monday's ours.
Yeah.
Cool.
So thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. It's so fun.
Yeah.
We'll do it again for sure sometime soon. And thanks for tuning in. We hope that you had fun with us this Monday. Go check out Jonathan McReynolds because evidently Nija's going to marry this guy someday.
Maybe.
And I'm going to go check out Blake Shelton.
That's right.
All right. Hey, God bless you. Have a great week.
The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give him his peace. Have a great day.